Um, okay, I have 7 poems for you here. For those of you, sometimes when a poet's reading, I always kind of count the poems. So if you're a poem counter, I'm going to read 7 poems. And the first one is around a painting I saw of Max Ernst when the Menil had the Max Ernst exhibit, I think it was last year. And there was this painting called, well, you know how it is with surrealism. You can kind of see anything or nothing. And this one was called Frogs Don't Sing Red. And that, for some reason that really spoke to me. And this is the poem. Frogs don't sing red. I can't find amphibians in the thin graphite lines cross-hatched on red canvas in a red room, but I can hear their song across a lazy pond. A jasmine-scented memory waiting for the breeze to play its melody through the leaves. A quiet punctuated by green throbbing throats and fireflies. The cries of children hide and seek while I nestle beneath the mulberry tree on the night damp ground. And don't feel like you have to apply after everyone. I think I'll just read the whole lot and then if you want to, you can. I don't know about you, but a lot of poets I know love to read mysteries. I don't know what it is about the two of them going together. Do a lot of you like to read mysteries? Or? Okay. Anyway, and I'm especially addicted, my husband and I, to Georges Simenon's Maigret mysteries. So this poem is dedicated to Maigret, who was France's fictional and beloved chief inspector. And I've written it in the form of a symphony, so it has movements. Reading a Maigret mystery. First movement, slowly. You move languorously through the mystery's opening drizzle, bearing the weight of a dismal sky, an adagio of strings. You muse on murder and the quirks of human nature, what Madame Maigret will make for lunch, a lamb stew, a fricassee of veal, and arrive at an office thick with pipe smoke where you listen as rain, a violin's soft piccato, drops and drops against cracked panes. Second movement, presto. Kettle drums rumble, thunder claps to murder on some quiet Paris street. Maigret drives along the Seine to a steady drum roll of pelting rain. A body, few clues, neighbors as curious as monkeys, a cacophony of piccolos and flutes behind fluttering curtains. Third movement, sustained, sometimes secretive. The orchestra underscores prolonged interrogations with point, counterpoint. A woman with whom you sympathize enters as melancholy violas slur across the strings. A discordant man disrupts with a sudden trumpet blast, followed by a trombone's downhill slide. To the bassoon's sustained and sullen refrain, suspicions play on the mind. Suspects fade in the mist. Finale, slowly with sadness. Woodwinds announce the climax. The culprit revealed. A fine drizzle spatters the streets. Maigret lingers over a beer in a smoky cafe. Rising, he pulls his overcoat tight and wanders home in the damp dusk while you stall, not yet ready to close the book on Paris, Maigret, and the rain. The cello enters to ring a last melodic drop. Silence. And this poem won honorable mention at one of the only competition in the San Antonio Poetry Fair that's open to people who don't live in San Antonio this year. So it'll be coming out in their Voices Along the River anthology in end of October. So, Gulf Shores, November 2008. Dripping blood and gold, the sun rises majestic from the water, as Venus must have risen, full grown from the sea's foam. So brilliant and beautiful, we hide our eyes in adoration, believing in myth, yearning for lives that dawn tabula rasa, far from the tricks minds play at 2 a.m. Obstinate, the moon lingers, pulling waves onto the shore's tympanum, alternating downbeat and rushing shush. We shiver and turn our faces to winter's salty wind, bathe in the growing glow, voices quieted, unconscious of how the undertow sucks the sand from beneath our feet. And the next two poems are kind of about getting a little bit older, which seems to be a natural consequence of living, but nevertheless sometimes a bit daunting. And this poem was written in response to the Alley musical a couple of years ago, which was the life of Janis Joplin. I don't know if any of you saw that, but it was a tribute to her, and it was called Love, Janis. A certain envy invades me as your life unfolds on the stage. Not for your companion, old Southern comfort, or your home in heroin, but even in death, you raise the everlasting question, and had I done the same? Listened to my inner self instead of buying convention, husband and mortgage, children and job? A graying chorus belts out Mercedes-Benz, our voices as raucous as yours, the 60s pulsing through our veins. You speak to the 20-something selves we left behind as we grew old, locked in ways you would never choose. We forget your drive to self-destruct and think only how it might feel to be a shooting star across the bright night sky.